Welcome to my review of Returning to Set with the last movie I was on. If you've been following on my short videos and if you've watched the last live video I did, I was talking about the first ever professional acting role I had. Even though it was an extra, it was my first professional gig. I was very happy with it. Go check out that video to get all the little juicy bits on it. So anyway, um, no, this time around hang on. My music's just slightly the music's slightly too loud. It's like right there, the same volume as me, and it's distracting. Hello, Charlita. Hello, hello, everybody that's showing up. Anybody else that's showing up. That still confuses me on YouTube. I've had people say they're watching it, and the little counter up there will say only one, so I don't know. Then also, whenever the video goes live, all the comments are gone. They're not there anymore, so it looks like I'm talking to nothing. Anyway, but okay. Alrighty, so we this was for the movie called Lady of the Nights, and it is a Gina says hi too. Hey Miss Gina. Um, it said the movie is made by the companies Rough Diamond Films LLC, and I may be saying that completely wrong. They may not have LLC on there, but I think they do. But it is produced by the company Dreams and Shadow Productions, which every time I say that out loud, my brain thinks about the Lord of the Rings, like just that song that Keeley sings in Return of the King or Two Towers or whichever one it was. They're all three so long I can't remember. Anyway, um, okay, but yes, it is called Lady of the Nights, and it is medieval nights, by the way. Not It's not medieval nights themed or anything like that. That'd be really awesome if it was, but no, it's more like the metaphorical knights, like knights in shining armor kind of deal. These two men are trying to do a documentary on sex trafficking in Arkansas. Little did we know that this was actually based on real events. That this was loosely based on real events that happened, and it's more based on real events that are happening currently in Arkansas, such as sex trafficking, prostitution, all that, those, all that. But basically, they're trying to make a documentary, and it goes horribly wrong. That's the only information we have. And as far as extras, when we did our extras, it we didn't get any of that. During the dinner scene, I kind of heard something that was kind of alluding to the plot. Like I heard something along the lines of, like, how could you be with her? She is a horrible person, and she's just terrible. And it's like, well, why would you say such a thing? And it's like, well, it's like you don't know what kind of person she is or something like that. It's like, well, no. It's like, what does a hooker look like, or what does a prostitute look like? I don't know. Gorgeous, beautiful, but they're terrible, terrible. It's a dramedy, basically. It's a dramedy. It's a drama comedy. And I didn't really get all of it because we were only there for the dinner scene, so we didn't hear all the lines. We didn't hear all the setups. Then, but going back to day before yesterday, whenever me and Sarah, we was called back. They said, hey, we need some extras, and we're reaching out to you because you said you wanted to still be involved, and we would absolutely love to have you and your sister back. You guys are awesome. We love you guys. We love having you around. They made us feel very good, naturally. And naturally, as soon as they said, are you still interested? I'm like, I could have just appeared there behind him. When do I start? I'm like, I'm ready. But we got there, and sorry, I got there. That's about right. Sorry, Metallica was playing in the background. It was kind of distracting me. Anyway, yeah, we had a lot of fun. I'm gonna say that a lot because I just can't help myself. That's the whole thing. We had a lot of fun. Nothing went wrong. Nobody had a problem. Nobody had issues. There was no arguments. There was no fights that broke out. There was nothing like that. Everybody was very professional. Again, if anybody feels differently, pray tell. You know, as far as like any other, it would more than likely probably be the extras, like the other extras. You know, um, like it would probably be some of the other extras because I did notice a couple other extras in there that just kind of they were ready to show up, they were ready to act, but they just didn't. They didn't seem that social. But then again, just because they didn't talk to me doesn't mean they weren't social. So that's no big deal. Everybody there, all the extras seemed to be having fun. There was one young lady there who said that she was in theater class, which was really cool. So what I thought was a little funny was not long after she says this to us that she's like, "Oh, I'm actually in theater class." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's good. That's really cool." The director comes up there and he's explaining how to act surprised. You know, it's like, okay, somebody comes in there and like whenever they get up and they fall down and they run out the door, how would you react? You know, you in theater you'd go, "Ah!" You know, you'd really be over the top, like, "Oh my goodness." He's like, "But that's theater." No, he's like, "Think of it real life." And I'm like, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm." Again, I'm like, I know, but not everybody does. I know, I know. I'm not saying like, okay, be quiet. I know. I'm like, no, nothing like that. I'm just going like, I'm just eating it up because I'm like, yep, that's exactly what you do. Mm-hmm. I'm agreeing with him, and like and then it hit me in my head. I'm like, that poor girl over there is like, I hope she's not getting offended because she, I don't know, like she said she was in theater class, and the way she kind of said it was that she's like, I'm in theater. It seemed a little cocky, but good for her. You know what I mean? Good for her. If she is a little cocky, she's she's probably got a lot under her belt. You know, she's probably really good in her theater class, so that's great. I didn't really focus on her all that much. But I'm just saying, I'm like, it was nice to have somebody else that was, that you talked to that said that they were actually in theater, in the arts, in acting, that actually knew what they were doing. So that was good. Um, we filmed in a church that was, assuming, of course, I assumed the last time it was the ending, but I don't know. Um, we were filming this scene in a church where we're watching the documentary that the young men put together and stuff, and we're supposed to be watching it, kind of like enjoying it, and then like all of a sudden it's like slowly going like, wait, what? What's happening? And the director's walking us through this, like he's playing a couple of clips, basically a trailer sort of a trailer of the movie. He's playing a couple clips from the movie, and he's telling us how to react. Like, okay, what you're seeing is now you're seeing them fight off gorillas. The bishop is fighting gorillas, and he's pile driving a gorilla. And as soon as he said that, I couldn't help myself. I cracked up. I'm like, he's pile driving a gorilla. Okay, he's pile driving a gorilla. Like sidebar here. In my mind, I'm like, okay, somebody's gonna pile drive a gorilla. Unless they're Mark Henry or Michael Clark Duncan back from the dead, Bobby Lashley or Batista or Triple H or somebody big, like unless they're Bane, like unless there's somebody big, ain't nobody pile driving a gorilla. The gorilla's gonna pile drive you. And so it's like, oh yeah, and the two young men that were supposedly fighting off these gorillas, I'm like, my brain went to these guys are not. Those two young men are not going to be fighting the gorilla. They're not going to be pile driving in a gorilla. What would happen is that scene from Space Jam. They're going to grab one of them, and just and play basketball with him. Still a dramatic scene, but kind of cool at the same time. I want to watch that now. The original Space Jam. Anyway, the other one was cute enough. I just didn't care for it. But, I mean, it wasn't really my thing. I'm like, nah, I couldn't get into it. Anyway, but okay, back to the movie. So we did that. We reacted to that, and that was all we did. It was a very short shoot day. Sadly, I say sadly because original was awesome. Yes, it was. And Mark Henry would be great. Yeah, As soon as they said Paul driving a gorilla, my brain went straight to my music video for King Kong using Mark Henry's theme song. Just somebody go and get that king. I'm like, just that's where my brain went, and I'm just like, mm-mm, mm-mm. It's like they Paul drive the gorilla, and I'm like, mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm King Kong, beat my fist in the chest. I'm getting sidetracked. There isn't much to tell of this shoot day other than everybody was fantastic. I got to talk with one of the stars like a little bit more this time around. He was very excited to see me, which blew my mind because I can't emphasize anymore about how well we were treated there. And it wasn't just a matter of okay, let's take care of our extras. It didn't feel like that. It felt more than that. It felt like I feel weird. I feel weird trying to say this because it's like when somebody wants to be your friend and you know that's natural. You feel it naturally and you become their friend. If you feel the same, if it's mutual, y'all become friends. But I didn't expect them to be so friendly and so kind and considerate and just all around big supporters of us, especially just learning a little bit about me, to them, like, oh, I'm a voice actor. I'm trying to get out in the movies, trying to get out into voice acting. Like, I don't care if I ever become major Hollywood. Like, I just want to get out there more, that sort of thing. And just telling them a little bit about that and showing them my YouTube and stuff. It's like they became hooked. They're like, wow. And my sister's like, well, Josh, you need to stop beating yourself up so much. She's like, you gotta stop. She's like, you're a likable guy, for goodness sake. She's like, why are you acting so surprised that people actually like you? And I'm like, it's not exactly always expected. And after the way everything's been going down, and after all the mess we've been through and everything, I don't expect to just everything go off without a hitch. I mean, I'm trying to get back in that mood, but it's just like I've just been so down in the dumps and so beside myself and everything else. So it's like, meeting these people, working around these people, and them actually gravitating towards you because they like your work. They like being around you. They want to be around you more. They're trying to use you as much as possible because they see you got talent and they want to use you. It's like, okay, it's it's like I'm not hearing it. It's like they're talking to me, but I'm not hearing it. It's like they one of them could walk up to me right now and just be like, dude, I've watched all your videos, dude. You're a freaking star, man. You are gonna go far in this business, dude. We got you, man. We gotta use you. This is the guy we need. We need Josh. We need Josh, man. He's got it. He's got it going on, man. He's got this. I'd be over there like this. I'm like, they're probably talking with somebody else. Like, and I'm like, and then they'll come back and be like, hey, Josh, like I said, on day 3, I think it was, they came up and they were like, Josh, we need you back on set. And I'm like, really? Like, I was first. Like, they wanted me first. They wanted me, and I'm like, and I went and I asked, I said, I asked somebody, I'm like, look, I don't want to impose and I don't want to think too highly of what y'all are doing for me. I mean, I don't want to think too highly of myself. I don't want to be braggadocious or anything like that. I don't want to be too vain and this, that. And they're like, yeah, what you got? What's up? And I said, I'm like, well, y'all chose me first out of the extras, I'm like, and that could have just been anything, it's like, no big deal. Let's just grab him, him, and him, and ain't no big deal. I'm probably overthinking it. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I'm not. And it's like, no. It's like, we know, it's like, we actually are trying to use you mainly. Like, we're trying to get you as much as, Brinson said, like, he wants to get as much work with you as possible, and we're trying to get you out there. We're trying to help you out. So that's why we got you in the back over here with the whiskey and stuff. That's why we're getting a lot of shots of you, and you're the guy that's moving around a lot. That's why we're using you. And I'm like, and there's a part of it that's like, well, maybe they're just telling me this, because there's a bunch of extras here. There's other people doing stuff, but they weren't exactly, guiding individual people like they were with me. So there was a part of me that just wasn't receiving it. I didn't want to accept my blessing, if that makes any sense, because I felt like if I did, I might get too arrogant. I might think too highly of myself. So I'm like, so naturally I get back in my little turtle shell. I'm like, okay. Uh, Johnny, it's great that they were giving you. Yeah. So I'm bringing this up again because I brought it up in the last video. All this stuff I just mentioned, because one of the stars, I can't remember his name. He said his name and I done forgot it. He only said it once, but me and him we talked twice there. And I was just telling him about there's a spot. Now, if y'all remember the Corpse Bride spoof, which one? I know, right? Any of them. The Corpse Bride spoof. The scene where Barkus tries to go into the closet, and I make the joke where he locks himself in the closet. Because if you've watched the behind the scenes video of that on my Patreon page, or if you watched it back when I had it on here, y'all will know that I said that in certain churches, the door on the side of the stage is not an exit. That is not a hallway. That is not a room. Well, it's a room, but it's not a big room. It's a closet. It's something for the brooms. It's something for the equipment. It's maybe got like a mop or, yeah, it's a broom. Anyway, but so I was mentioning that to this guy, and I said, I'm like, yeah, I'm like that door over there. I'm like, cause I'm way ahead of myself. Let me just point this out real quick. Pause where I was. Like, we were in a church, and it was a classic, cathedral, Catholic-like little small church. It had the big, beautiful wooden rafters. It had the big, giant, antique pipe organ off to the side. It had like the little pulpit where the preacher stood, his little chariot, kind of deal. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just calling it because I have a lack of vocabulary for this sort of thing. Sorry, I'm something. That's great. I mean, that's okay, Dragon Girl. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad other people are showing up. That's great. I mean, even if it's two. So I'm trying to get Michael's butt over here, but he's busy with other stuff. But I understand that. Anyway, let me catch you up. We are talking about my second time. I got a call back to go back to the movie set and be an extra again for this movie I was in called Lady of the Nights. Because 2 weeks ago, I went and filmed. It doesn't even feel like 2 weeks ago. It feels like last week. But I don't want it to be 2 weeks ago. I don't want it to be so far away. Anyway, okay, I'm going to try to briefly touch back on this. Dragon Girl, I don't know how much you know. I don't know if you remember that I don't know if you saw the video. I don't know if you saw my post about me being in a movie. Yes, I was an extra in a movie where I filmed a dinner scene where I was sitting at a dinner table pretending to eat. If you want to know more about that one, go check out my last live video, and it talks all about that first time shoots. It's called My First Professional Gig. So if you want to hear the whole story and all the funny stuff that happened then and how great it was, like, go check that video out. But yes, we were in a church, and it was very small, like very small inside, but kind of quaint. I was also in live chat. That's right, you were. You were? I'm sorry. I do remember you being there. I'm sorry. I've slept since then, and it's a lot to talk about and stuff. So I do apologize. But I'm glad you were there. But yes, we were called back because we're supposed to be a congregation watching the documentary. Watching the documentary that the two young men made in the movie. It's a fourth wall breaking kind of scene, which, if you know anything about me, I don't like fourth wall breaks, but hey, this, once they explained this, I totally got it and I'm cool with it. I'm not going to protest either at the same time, but anyway, it's a reason why I say it's a fourth wall break is because it's clearly we're filming a scene where we're extras, but then the scene kind of transitions into, like, it breaks the fourth wall by going, we have a lot of young women who are being sex trafficked right here in Arkansas, right here in Searcy. And so this is a very serious matter, and sometimes we can make like little movies to bring awareness about this, but this is a very serious thing. And I'm like, oh man, it's getting real. And I overheard Brinson, who's the producer, He said, yeah, he's like, this is actually based on like real events, like what's going on currently. And I'm like, and I realized, I'm like, my first movie, I'm in a awareness movie. Cool. That's cool. I'm like, I love it. I love it. Now I just need to be in a dare movie. Dun, 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 dun. Pop my shirt open as if it's a dare shirt. Well, I would make the edit later on and just like superimpose it on my shirt, but I'm like, ain't no sense in going through all the edits. Although I still may go through edits, like whenever I post this, once this live is over and I'm gonna download it, I'm probably gonna re-upload it, and I'll incorporate the clips of the church that we was in, or I'll probably just make a separate video, and make it easier that way. Um, it's yeah. Um, Sorry, y'all. I kind of a little far away, so I'm trying to read the small print. But if I don't get it, I do apologize. Um, but yes, We was in the church. We was in this cathedral. You know, it was very beautiful, and it's an Episcopal church, which is, in the words of the late great Robin Williams, it is a Catholic light, church. Which I'm just back there like, how do people have revival meetings in here? There's like no room. I'm like, how I can only imagine what a young black Baptist would from a young black Baptist church. I'm like, I wonder what they would think of this very small little narrow. I'm not throwing off, not by a long shot. It was a beautiful church, and quite honestly, if I could have a Pentecostal church built, I would build it similar to a Catholic church because I love the stained glass windows. I love the crosses. I love the garms that they wear and everything. I love how beautiful all that is. The pageantry, if you will. I just love it all. It's so beautiful. You walk into a building like that and it's like, this feels like God's house. Other churches like Pentecostal churches, Baptist churches, all that stuff. Other places, you walk into the church and you can feel the spirit, and you're like, this feels like God's house. But that's the church that not only do you feel the spirit, but you could also look around and just go, this is a holy place. So I love that. Like it broke my heart when Notre Dame caught fire. I'm not even Catholic, but I'm like, that's God's house. That's a house. That's a house of God. I'm like, no, it broke my heart. But anyway, I keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry, because there's not too much to tell about what went down, that day. Because sadly, it was very short. And I say sadly because I love being around these people. I love being around these people, acting and just talking to these people, making them laugh, and them laughing, and just everyone having such a good time. It's such a warm feeling. And whenever I leave those people, and whenever I leave them, I get so down in the dumps. I get so bummed out because I feel like, I'm like, my God, I'm like, how long before I get to go be around those people again? Because I'm just an extra, I'm like, I'm just an extra, I'm not a main character. I'm not a cast. I'm not a main cast member. I don't know why I do quotes, but I'm not a main cast member. I'm not a co-star technically. I'm not a star. I'm not under contract. That sort of thing. I don't have to be there, type of deal. They really wanted me there, but if I didn't show up, it's like, okay, we'll just get another extra, or we'll work with what we got. So I'm like, it's like, despite how good they made me feel, and despite how good it felt to be around like-minded people and these people who are acting, and that feeling of, at long last, I am finally around people who are actors, and I don't have to constantly, like, talk and beat around the bush. Yes, I'm an actor, type of deal. I could probably say I'm an actor, but it's like, how do I back it up? It's like, well, I'm on YouTube. I've done a couple things, voice acting, for myself. It's kind of like, yes, it's like, I want more. I want more under my belt. It's not about being famous or anything. So I just want more under my belt. That way I can at least go, here's my list. Here you go. So here's my list of stuff I did. Instead of just like, oh, here's a video I made on YouTube for no money. I just did it for fun. You know, I mean, that's great. That's fine. No, that's fine and dandy and fine. But when you're trying to prove yourself, you know, it's a different story. But like I said, it's like I didn't want to leave there. I'm like, but you know, when it was a wrap and they didn't need us no more, we still had like a 2 hour drive back, so we had to get out of there quick. And we left, and I just started getting bummed out. And Sarah's like, "Why are you bummed? You know, you should be happy that you got to work with them again." I'm like, "I'm very happy I got to work with them again. I'm very happy at the reception we got just for showing up. You know, we sat down before everything was starting to film. Like we sat down in like the little mess hall kitchen area. Mess hall. What? Sorry, my brain not working as normal it does. Anyway, um, but we went to like the little area where you could eat food and stuff. Like it was like another little building that the church had that was across the street kind of deal where they eat and everything. Which I don't necessarily like that, but that can't be helped because the architecture and the highways and the roads. But it's like, oh, your kids got Sunday school. Okay, well they got to cross the street and oof. Like, anyway, but whatever. But it's not a big deal. It was a very small street, and the street itself is one little lane, so it's not a big deal. Anyway, yeah, Fellowship Hall. Thank you. But no, um, I was talking to the young man, this one of the stars of the movie, and I was telling him about the joke I came up with for Corpse Bride. I'm like, cause that door, you know, there's a closet, you know, in some churches, and I was doing in my Corpse Bride spoof. I did a spoof of Corpse Bride, and I was there was a scene where you've seen Corpse Bride, right? And he goes, oh yeah, I know Corpse Bride. And I'm like, yeah, well, you know Barkus whenever he goes up to the door, how he dies before he goes in there. Well, I made a joke of what if he goes in there thinking it's a hallway, but then like he gets stuck because he realizes it's a closet and he can't open the door and it's jammed, it's locked. And he's just like, he goes, whoa, 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 back up. And I'm like, what'd I do? And he's like, you made a spoof of the Corpse Bride? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what? Dude, I didn't know you did that type of stuff. I'm like, Brinson didn't tell you? I'm like, yeah, I'm on YouTube, man. I'm Leowolf TV. You know, I do spoofs, music videos, art galleries. And he just goes, he's like, dude, I gotta look you up, man. Oh my gosh, I did not know that. And this guy is just so. I can't. I'm trying to find the words to explain it without coming off like I'm bragging, like, oh yeah, he couldn't wait to see me. No, it's nothing like that. But it felt that way because whenever this young man has seen me, he was very happy, very excited. The first day of me being there, he introduced himself. He's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? You having a good time? You ready to roll?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm like, I'm ready. I'm very excited." He's like, "All right, man, let's get to it." Well, next couple of times I was there for the first time, he was very happy. He's like, "Josh, you're back, man. What's up?" And "Hello, friend." I'm like, okay. I'm like, and that's one of the stars on the moon. I'm like, dang. I'm like, I must have made one good impression, you know. And I know you're probably getting tired of hearing me talk so down on myself and everything, but it's just like I said, I didn't expect it. You know, I expected to kind of be the awkward person there who's trying too hard, which is my typical way. Trying too hard to make friends, trying too hard to make people laugh, trying too hard. But they didn't make me feel that way, though. Even if I tried to, they did not make me feel that way. Um, he's like, dude, I gotta look you up, man. He's like, what's the name of the channel, man? I gotta look you up. He's like, you got all that stuff going on? I'm like, mm-hmm. And I was telling him how I'm trying to make merch and everything too. And he's like, wait, you got merch? And I'm like, no. I'm like, my idea. I'm like, well, right now, my merch is if I get the money, I could make the shirt for the person, then I could mail it to them. And he goes, right on, but hey, man, that's something. But he's like, that's still cool, man. I'm telling him about like the spoofs I just worked on. I worked on the Batman movies and stuff. And he's like, you did Batman too? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I've done way more than that. He's like, wait, so how long you been doing this? And I'm like, Oh, I'm happy for y'all. Thank y'all. I'm happy that y'all are happy for me. um, I'm I'm happy for me too. Like I said, I had a great time. um, and like I said, like he was very happy to talk to me and everything else. And it's like, and it was like he was excited to see me again. And there was a part of me that's like, why? And it wasn't just him; it was other people there too. The director, the producer, a couple of the stars, a couple of the stagehands. Like they were all like, "Hey, Josh, what's up, man?" And I'm like, uh, "What's up? Hey, how y'all doing?" Like I can't receive it. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm like I don't know. I'm like I just it's like I don't want to receive it. It's like I'm not. I'm used to being friendly to all these other people. You know, oh, thank you. But I'm used to being friendly to all these. I got gnats in my room, or at least maybe one. But I'm used to going around town and just being friendly to people and stuff like that, and it just kind of getting blowed off. You know, if the person doesn't like me, they just kind of look at me kind of weird, and then they just walk off, and I just bite my lip and go, not to talk to that person. Walk away, walk away, walk away. But like I had a woman bark at me the other day, which Charlita knows this because I told her about it. I was trying to pick because these Walmart cashiers are walking up with like all the little dumpsters or whatever, like five of them, like a convoy of them, and I'm like, ooh, I got beads, I got beads. I'm like, hey, throw me something. It's a parade. I didn't get the words parade out my mouth, but before the young woman just looked at me and then just went, rawr! I'm like, I didn't even budge when she did that. I'm just like, and Sarah just turns around. What the heck was that about? Where did that come from? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't get my witty joke out in time, and she growled at me. I can honestly say, haven't had that before. And Sarah's like, well, maybe she's not all there, Josh. And I'm like, maybe. Not disrespecting, not being mean, but maybe. Or maybe she was just doing that basically as her way of saying, don't talk to me. And I'm like, okay. Either way, it was kind of one of those moments where it's like, did that just happen? That's what happened in my brain. Like, did that just And before I could say, did that just happen in my head, Sarah goes, what the heck was that? And I'm like, you heard it too? Yeah, I mean, some people can be weird. I know, right? They're not normal like me. Gold dust. No, stardust. Oh, yeah. Why can't they all be normal like me? Just play a montage of clips from Leowolf TV's Halloween Past. Or play a clip of Trick or Treat. Like, Josh is normal. Trick or Treat shows up. Where's the candy? It's like, I swear. Me, I'm in a corner. I am not a creature. I'm not a freak. anyway. Anyway. Um, but yeah, we filmed the scene where we reacted to basically the art one of the deacons being in the documentary doing something that is very worldly, you know, very secular, like basically very sinful. Like he's either kissing a woman or he's hanging around with prostitutes or he's uh, smoking or drinking, something like that type of deal. You know, he's a deacon. You know, you're not supposed to do that. That's a no-no. You know, if you're in the elite of church, like a pastor or bishop or anything like that, you know, there's certain standards you have to live by. You know, so um, more so than you should already as a Christian in general. Um, so yeah, but so he gets seen on the documentary, and there's like a couple people that was going like, "Is that Deacon Darren? Hey, that looks like Deacon Darren. Is that Deacon Darren? Is that Deacon Darren?" You know, like Deacon Darren gets up, and he kind of like trips over somebody a little bit, and then he tries to like run down the aisle, and he trips and he falls, face plants, and then he gets up and he busts out the back busts out the front doors, you know, and he hightails it, and then like the archdeacon, uh, lead deacon, I don't know, but the priest, he walks up and he was a man in a white robe with a red sash. I was gonna say purple, but I'm like, nope, that's for me. But he had like a red sash, and he's just like, he's doing like the awkward clap, and so we all have to kind of like go like, okay, yeah, what in the world? And he goes, he's like, well, that was something, wasn't it, boys? Boys? The guys who made the documentary, apparently they didn't make it that day. In the movie, they didn't show up. So it's like, I mean, they were there in real life, but the characters didn't show up for that particular scene. And that's whenever the deacon, the priest, whatever title he is, I don't really know. I apologize. But classic slow clap, yes, yeah. And so one funny bit, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. He said, he's like, okay, I need some of you to be the anchors, and I need some of you to be the louder people, the expressive people. You know, not what, not like that, but you gotta at least be able to go like that, subtle, but you're at least showing emotion. And then the anchors are the people who are just like, we've been here before. I'm not surprised. Mm. That's about it. So Sarah was the anchor because, like she mentioned, and then like the director said, he said the anchors are people who've been around there. They know about this. And Sarah, being a dispatcher, she's used to that. So she's like, I'll be the anchor. I'm like, okay, well, leaves me to be the expressive one. Egad! Of course not. Of course I didn't do that. That would have been funny, but no. Uh, so that was about it. Um, that was pretty much the scene that we filmed. That was about it. It was very fun. I got to talk with a lot of the people. Like after we would do like in the middle of whenever we do rehearsal or whenever we be resetting and everything. I had left the pew sitting beside Sarah and went to the other pew to go talk with the other woman. Oh, well, not other woman, but this other woman or whatever who was sitting over there, and nobody was talking to her. She was an older woman, so I jumped over there to go talk with her because he said, "Hey, he's like fellowship. He's like be friendly, talk with each other. You know, we're gonna be here for a couple of hours. Like get to know one another, just talk, and like break the tension." So me and Sarah's just kind of sitting there in a pew by ourselves. Sarah's talking, tries to talk to some of them behind her, and then but they don't really talk too much or whatever. So she's just kind of, I look, and like this woman's sitting over there. She's got two other women beside her, but they're talking to each other. They're not talking to her. So I swing over there. Uh, I swing over there, and I start talking to her. And the director goes, he's like, hey, he's like, look, I don't want to, he's like, I don't want to bother you or anything. He's like, but he's like, but could you like stay right here? He's like, you actually look really good. He's like, how did he put it? He goes, I don't want to. He's like, I'm not trying to. He's like, hey, I'm not trying to pester you or nothing like that. He's like, but he's like, I need you. He's like, I'm gonna actually have you sit right here because you actually look really good right here. And I'm like, okay. Am I in trouble? You know, it's like he just said you look good there, but in my mind, am I in trouble? Like, you know, like whenever you're a kid in class and like you jump over there to the other table to talk to your friend, they're like, I didn't say you could sit over here like that. I didn't know if it was that kind of thing. Like, you better get back over there because clearly you don't. Oh, well, you clearly don't want to be in your seat, so here's detention or something, or here's a write up. You know, I didn't know if it was like that. And they're like, no, 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 no. It just looks really good. Like the whole symmetry of the amount of people and like having you sit right here. We like that. It's like got you front and center and everything. We like that. And I'm like the lighting and everything. The perspective is good. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. No problem. As long as I'm not in trouble, as long as I'm not screwing something up because I moved. You know, I was just trying to be friendly. I was going to move back, but they're like, no, no, you actually look good here. And I'm like, okay. And I'm wearing black again, just like I did during the bar scene. However, the difference now is I'm wearing blue jeans instead of navy slacks, and I'm wearing my hair up. So, uh, I'm not acting drunk, so I'm supposed to be like Sunday best. You're at church. So I was gonna wear my white shirt, but I'm like, it was just too wrinkly, and I hate the way that shirt makes me look. And in my opinion, it makes me look 10 times fatter. So, but either way, it's also see through, and I'm like, oh. Anyway, so like I said, the young going back to like the young man, he said that he really enjoyed. He says that he really enjoyed talking to me and everything. It's like, dude, man, it's like, I love the fact that you're back, man. It's so awesome. And then according to Sarah, Brinson had told her, he's like, I am so excited that you and your brother was able to come back here. He's like, I am so happy that y'all are back here. He's like, I heard that y'all were coming. He's like, I didn't know if y'all was. He's like, I didn't know for sure if y'all would actually make it. He's like, and then whenever y'all actually showed up, he's like, yes. He's like, yes, they're here. And I'm like, and I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, the way these people, I mean, this wasn't, this was, I mean, like, at first I was like, oh, that must have been all on, that must have just kind of been like them being friendly. I don't want to say it was an act, but I mean, like, it must have just been them being friendly the time before, just because, like, they were being friendly. But no, they literally treat us like, oh, wow, it's like you're Josh's sister. Okay, we're going to treat you really nice. And Josh, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna take good care of you. And I'm like, how do y'all see me? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, how do y'all see me? Do y'all see me as someone who already is a co-star, who's like a legend that y'all are working with, and y'all are so excited to work with me, type of deal? I'm like, because that's just, because you always get to that point in your mind. You always get to that point in your mind where at one point you may think of a legend you may think you're a legend in your own mind, type of deal, but you don't ever really expect anybody to really say that about you. Maybe your close friends, maybe your family, but like to walk in and like just make such a good impression that these people are treating you that way, and it's like it's validating, and I'm not used to that kind of level of validation. This is almost like showing up to an audition, knocking it out the park first hit, and then going like, okay, we gotta make sure because like Josh is our guy, like like we gotta take care of him. We gotta make sure he gets here. If he can't get here because of travel, we gotta get him a car. We also need to make sure he's got plenty. We also gotta make sure he's got food. We hear he's got blood pressure. We gotta make sure it's not too salty. Like wait a minute, like, why are y'all doing all this? It's like, because you're our guy, we got to take care of you, and you're a great guy, you're awesome, you're a friend of ours, we love you, and we want to take care of you. And I'm like, oh. And it's also, I can't ignore it. It's also a fact of like, oh, I didn't know it was playing at first, but it's also a matter of like, the agency that I was with, and then also, the agents that I'm with right now, they're okay, but they're very business. They all business. Like they're very cut and dry. Like, hey, your resume sucks. You need to do better. You need to get a better resume. You need to get some better stuff on it. They're very cut and dry, very black and white, very direct, very business. It's understandable. I get it. It's cool. But you get used to that type of mentality. So like whenever you show up to a set and you're just like my expectation, like I said in the last video, my expectation is just I'm just an extra, no big deal. I'm like okay, don't get a big head, Josh. You're nothing special. You're just an extra. So I'm like I go in, and whenever I go in there, I'm like okay, I'm just gonna sit down here, and I just gotta sit here and just go like yeah, no. They saw that they saw I had talent. They wanted to use my talent. They want to use my talent, and they told me that they're also going to keep me as involved as they can. And Brinson even says like, dude, he's like, I'm gonna like I told you in the last live video. He's like, I'm gonna try to get you as much exposure as I can, man. I'm gonna try to get you on set, maybe singing and showing off. And I said to Michael, look, I'm like, don't go out of your way. Please do not go out of your way to try to like alter the script just for me. Now, if you need an extra person, just I don't know, because maybe one of your guys couldn't make it or something, I can definitely help with that. But like I told him this past time, couple like 2 days ago, I sent him an email, I sent him a text message, and a Facebook. This was their last day of shooting, I think, apparently, according to what my sister was told. which I'm glad I brought that up because that reminded me of something else I could talk about here. They um, they said like we're going to keep you as involved as possible, and I said, I'm like, well, is there any way that I can be a part of y'all's group, a part of your cast, a part of your crew, permanently, like under contract? I haven't heard back from them yet, um, because whenever it comes time for another movie, quite honestly, I don't want to just be an extra. I want to be a paid member. And they said in the future that like they would like to pay their extras when they can, but this wasn't a very big budgeted movie type of deal. They didn't exactly have the money to pay all the extras, because for one thing, if you just showed up one day, it's like we don't really have money just to dish out like a couple $100 here or whatever. You showed up for 5 minutes, whatever. No, I mean I totally understand that, but I want to be an extra, yes, but also at the same token, I want to be a co-star. I want to be a part of this crew. I want to get to know everybody there more. I want to be a part of their team, you know. And if I can get under contract with them, that's great. If there was a way to like uh, put me under contract as a permanent background character, that's cool too, because I'd still be with them. You know, what I mean, that's cool. Um, I want to be an extra. I'm not saying I don't want to be an extra. I want to be an extra, but if that door is open for, hey, would you like to be a part of our crew, our team, and everything? It's like, oh, we'll take care of you. We like you as a person. We like your talent. We want to use your talent, and we definitely want to help you in the future with your with acting and everything. And this, we feel like you could be a great asset to us. Like, would you like to be a part of it? We could set you up a contract and everything else, and we could sign you to our company. We could sign you as one of our main actors. And I'd be like, heck yeah. Especially if you need voiceovers, man. I'm like, you need voiceovers too? Or if you need a theatrical person, I'm your guy. I'm on the job. I'm like, but, man, I'm sorry for being absent for a few minutes. I had to help my grandma. So don't ever apologize about that, sweetheart. Thank you so much for letting me know. But yes, family comes first. Absolutely, 100%. I'm just sitting here talking. You didn't miss anything other than me just kind of beating myself up a little bit. So, but uh, if you want to see that, just wait for the video to go public afterwards, and you can just rewind, or you can probably just rewind anyway. But it's a live video, but eh. But yeah, I was just kind of beating myself up a little bit cause of the of like, yeah, I don't understand. I can't. It's like I don't believe it that I'm that talented already. And when you got somebody who's a part of a professional company telling you this, that you are that talented, that we want to use you, and they really like you, it doesn't seem real, because it's like it's like I've been around. I've heard I've heard that in passing, but whenever I've heard people say that I got talent and that could be used, it's been from agencies that want me to pay a bunch of money to use me. So you can't really believe them because it's like they're just trying to buddy you up. Uh, my sister and I, about a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago now, went to this casting thing where, it was an audition to show off our talents and see if we can get invited and everything else to this workshop and stuff. And I flubbed my audition because I got choked up when it came time to do my impressions. I couldn't quite get it done. They said, "Well, you said you got a YouTube channel, right? Well, you could send us a couple of videos, right? Maybe a demo reel." I'm like, "Yeah, I could do that." Yeah, 2 years ago. And but I got the Pepsi. I got the Pepsi commercial. I read that. They said they was very impressed with that. They're like, "We love your look," and that was something. If you recall from the last live video where I talked about this about the movie. I had one person mention that I had a good look, and then I had the director say I had a good look. The producer said I had a good look. So I'm like, well, I appreciate that. I really do. I'm like, that really means a lot. And they're like, no, you do, man. You got a really good look. Like like your features and everything, like your beard line, your hair whenever it was down and stuff like that, your dress shirt, your sleeves kind of rolled up, and your bracelets. Because me, my thing has always been kind of a somewhat biker motif. One, because wrestling. Second thing was because I grew up around a lot of men who kind of had that look. Because my mama's friends were smokers and drinkers and things like that. And a good many of them would dress like they were bikers, but they didn't have motorcycles. Like they would have like this sleeve cut off sleeve shirt, the chain wallet, maybe have like their sleeves kind of like rolled up and maybe like a bracelet or two on their wrist. And I just remember growing up thinking, I'm like, that's a cool look. I'm like, you see people all the time in TV shows and movies, they have the sunglasses and the leather jacket and stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's a cool look and all, but it's the wrong sunglasses. And I found out about wrestling and I saw all the different sunglasses people wore in wrestling, like Edge and Undertaker and Hulk Hogan and Macho Man. Saw all their sunglasses and I'm like, yeah, that's better. I got a pair of sunglasses coming in at some point or where, and I'll show them off whenever I get them. But they basically, if you're familiar with it, Charlita is, but if you're familiar with it, it looks like Bret Hart's pink visor wraparound sunglasses, only they're black. So I don't know how tinted they are. In the picture, they didn't look that tinted, but then again, in that picture, they're also underneath lights in their face. Well, they have lights in their face, so I don't know. Uh, so I'm like, cause me, I love wraparounds. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, I don't like my peripherals being blinded and I don't like looking up and the light comes in underneath or light comes in at the top. I'm like, it's got to be like this. That's right. I got my Johnny Mundo sunglasses on. But yeah, it's got to have the peripherals covered. It's got to wrap around the whole eye socket. Anyway, um, oh, not that song. I forgot about that. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, whenever we left, I know I'm all over the place in this video. I apologize. Last time I had a lot more stories to tell and I had a lot more details to tell about what happened, but in a nutshell, we filmed the scene. No, we got there, we came, we saw, we acted, we filmed, we left. Pretty much is sadly how it went down. Other than everyone being very friendly, and us enjoying the company and stuff, not too much to really say. Not a lot of like funny stories to really talk about or anything like that. However, before I forget again, Sarah was talking with the woman who was the sound mixer, and she said that the movie, hopefully, whenever it officially goes up for streaming, it just depends on like how whoever buys it and the copyright and everything. She said it should be up for streaming. She's like, if it is, it should be available to download. And Sarah goes, she's like, well, if it is available to download, Josh has already said that he's gonna download it. He's gonna post it on his Rumble page so everyone can watch it. And she goes, really? And she's like, yeah, he's got a whole movie channel dedicated to it. And I'm like, whenever she told me that, I'm like, yeah, because where can you watch certain movies? On Leowolf TV. Dun. So, um, it's all right. That's okay. That's all right. What's all right? Is that a late message or either way? Um, no, but yeah, I'll definitely be posting that movie on Leowolf TV movies on Rumble. As soon as I can. If I'm able, I'm gonna do it. Because I want the movie to be seen, and I definitely want to show it off, as much as possible. Not only for me and Sarah, but also for everyone else involved. Um, it's a late message. Oh, okay. um, but yeah, when we left, Brinson had texted me saying, he's like, hey, I'm very sad that I didn't get to message you. Didn't get to say goodbye to y'all. He's like, I wanted to talk with y'all before you left, but I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's okay. We had a long drive back. He even said, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, Josh and Sarah, like whenever he was introducing everybody, he's like, oh, raise your hand if this is your first time on set. Raise your hand if this is not your first time. raise your hand if you've been with us before. And like me and Sarah both raised our hand, and they're like, yeah, Josh and Sarah, they've been with us before. These two are legends right here. They know what it's about. How far did y'all drive to get here? And we're like, in like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. It ended up being 3 hours because we had to take like this round trip because like there was like road, like the road was under construction. Uh, so we had to turn back around and go back around the long way. But either way, that was just going to there, but coming home where it was only 2 hours. But we still had to drive and everything, and so whenever we left, like it sucked. I was bummed out the entire ride home. Like I would try to laugh and talk and everything else, but I just couldn't shake it. Because I'm like I hate that. I'm like it's such a beautiful novelty right now, and I don't want it to not be a novelty, obviously, but I don't like it whenever I have to leave it because it's kind of like a when will it happen again? You know, like how soon will it happen again? It's because it's been such a release from all the stress I've been under with the whole blood pressure mess with the doctor and everything and all that aggravation, which again, I'm gonna say it again. I do truly believe that I have successfully reversed my blood pressure because my blood pressure has been staying at the bottom number has been staying in the 70s and in the 60s. And by in the 60s, I mean like I think at one time it was 62. The rest of the time it's 68, but it stays mostly in the 70s, and that's good. That's fantastic. I looked it up. I've asked around and said, "I'm like, what is a way that I can tell for myself, just for my own sake? I'm like, what is a thank you? I'm like, what is a way that I could tell myself that I've reversed it? You know, I'm like because I know the doctor's got to tell me and everything, but is there anyone I could talk to? Is there any way I can tell? Because my temperature is not even about it. I thought my temperature was connected to it, but it wasn't. I mean, it is and it isn't kind of deal. It's like because your blood pressure was out of whack because you had too much salt, and not like pretty much zero water in your system and nothing but soda and salt for months. You know, probably years. You know, it's like you've had all this. You know, it's caused your blood pressure to get out of whack. You need to get your diet under control. It's basically what it was in a nutshell. Um, so I got that under control, and with the pills, I got it regulated, got it back down to normal. Um, so yeah, so because the blood pressure was out of whack, it caused my temperature to go up. But just because my temperature goes up doesn't necessarily mean that that's my blood pressure. Like right now, I'm wearing this jacket for aesthetic reasons, and my cheeks are getting a little red. That's because I'm getting hot. The air conditioning's off. I got some airflow because of the ceiling fan, but you get the point. Anyway, no, but it's been in the 70s. It has not once been 80 something. I think if it ever gets to 80, all I do is literally sit there for like 1 second, and then it goes right down to 78, and that's without the pill. Like, because the pill apparently only lasts like about an hour, or not an hour, but it only lasts like a couple hours. So by the next day, I have to take it around the same time. But I'm hoping that in the next 3 months, whenever I go back to her, she's going to tell me, yes, you know, we're going to start weaning you off this. We're going to see how that works, and then yeah, you just keep doing what you're doing. Because I want this whole chapter to be behind me, and I'm gonna keep. And please forgive me, but like I'm gonna probably bring that up as much as I can because talking about it helps me cope. Because the doctor, the way she would give me things directly, and her bedside manner a lot of times is kind of like she don't care. You know, it kind of comes with the territory of being a doctor. You know, you see so many patients, you kind of get numb to a lot of it. I can understand that, so I can forgive that. You know, of course I can forgive that. You know, but I have to like call up the doctor's office and ask them like, look, I need help. I'm like, is my health really bad? Because the way she was talking, it's got me scared. You know, I'm like, and everything, and I'm like, and now y'all are telling me like this and that, and they're like, no, 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 your health is perfectly fine. You don't, and whenever you come back in and take your blood drawn, like there should be nothing wrong. Like like the chances of you having anything show up is pretty much next to nothing. So you're good. Like your health is good. Your blood test came back the first time. Absolutely nothing's wrong with you except your blood pressure, and you're already getting that under control. So you're doing fantastic. Okay, thank you. You know, I'd have to call them and talk to them so they could tell me that straight because it's like the doctor does not want to tell me the final thing in the sentence. Like she does not, like she can tell me all this good stuff, but just before she says, "You're on the fast track of reversing it," she stops and she won't tell me that part. And I'm like, so, so like I said, I'm like, it just helps me cope, you know, whenever I talk about this stuff because I'm getting off this stuff as soon as I can. My diet has been good. I've backed way off the sodas. Now, for the past 3 days, I have had a few more sodas, but it has not been what you think. It's been literally, because normally I'll have one with my food, and past 3 days, it's been situations where it's like, okay, I've been drinking plenty of water on top of the sodas. Don't worry. Like that hasn't stopped. I've been drinking plenty of water. Um, but like on the way back home, I wanted to get a canned soda. They didn't have a canned soda, so I'm like, well, I want to go the cheap route, you know. And buying a 20-ounce bottle is like $3, so I'm like, I can get a fountain drink, get more soda, but also it's cheaper. It's only like 98 cents. So I'm like, okay, or 95 cents or whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's not so bad. So I did that. I would occasionally sip on it, and after a while, it kind of goes flat, and I throw it away. You know, like the thing I've been typically saying for the past 2 months. Then I cracked open a can or whatever so I can have it with my supper. Was drinking on it, started to fall asleep, and because I'm going to sleep, there's over half a can left. Throw it away. There's no point in it. Yes, it's very wasteful, but you know what? I look at it this way. It's way better than having like several different bottles around the room drinking nothing but Dr. Pepper all throughout the day. So that's pretty much it. And today, I think I had two. No, I had one Dr. Pepper, and I didn't even finish it. I didn't even drink it all. Um, because I ended up drinking water and ended up doing other stuff, and just I left it out, and like it started to kind of get that flat taste, so I'm like I just threw it out. I still got a Dr. Pepper in there, but I've been drinking mostly water. I've drank milk and everything else. So, and by the way, I also breathed today, just because now I'm rambling. I do apologize. But like I said, if I can go back to the movie thing for a minute, like I said, I'm like I want to be a part of that group. I want to get calls. I want to get text messages from these people. I know they're busy with other things. I know, but there's a part of me that don't want to let them go because I think I found something really special with this group, with this team, and I'm like I want to keep them around as much as possible, and I want to be a part of them. I want to get calls. I want to get texts. I want to get emails going like, "Hey, Josh, we need you on set. You know, like we got this film role where there's like this where it's like a camp movie or something like that, and there's like this big monster or whatever, and we need you to we need you to do the voice. You're playing the monster, but somebody's physically there's going to be a bigger guy playing the monster, but you're going to voice him basically. So you're technically the monster. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, cool. It's like or something like that, or we need you on set. You got to be the best friend of this guy, and stuff like that. Like you're the best friend that he can call and talk to and everything. So like something like that. I want to get calls like that. I want to get the roles and everything else. Because I'm like I'm not. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and just waiting forever for my agents to get back to me on these other roles. They send me an email occasionally, but I can say yes, I want this role. But they look at my resume, so it's like, what can I do? What else can I do? I mean, like, I can only do so much. So it gets stressful. But anyway, um, I guess that's all I wanted to talk about as far as the movie goes. In closing, I really enjoyed myself with your team, Brinson. If y'all are watching this, I really enjoyed myself with your team. I want to continue it. I want to be a part of more projects with y'all. Um, I want to be of help any way I can, and I'm like, so I just hope to hear from y'all in the future with more work, and just let's keep this ball rolling and just keep going on.